Okay, here is just a little quick clip of what I've been up to. So I bought some cranberries, so soon I'll make. Usually I try, if the last year's recipe didn't work to the best, um, sometimes we have recipes that we don't use forever. I know last year's I thought seemed pretty thick. The year before, too sweet. So I'm going to look around for another recipe this year. So probably the first part of November, I'll use that recipe, see if it turns out, and then I'll serve that for Thanksgiving dinner and also for during the Christmas holiday. So these are the tomatoes that I got off my plant today. So we're looking at, today is the first day of fall. So actually it was yesterday, Saturday. So that's pretty good. I think it's 45 now, and I still have 6 to go on the other plant. So I have made sourdough before. This is my rubber band, so she's up this far. So quite a bit. I have made sourdough before. I have made a sourdough loaf of bread before, and everything worked great. I have even made biscuits with the discard. But I've never really, my starter has never really been alive and well. It was just kind of limping along, and I just happened to make a good loaf of bread and some biscuits out of the discard, and that was it. And I just quit doing it all together. But I have now made my own, which is quite active. I don't know if everybody has always done this, but the recipes that I followed, the sites that I followed, never informed me to use wheat flour. So when this particular recipe that I will include in the description had me use wheat flour and then feed it and water it for 7 days. And this has been in the fridge now, and it's nice and active. It's beautiful. And so because I'm not ready to make a loaf of bread, because I'm not ready to use anything, bake anything with the discard, I'm just keeping it in the refrigerator right now, and I'm just feeding it once a week to get it, or to keep it active and stuff like that. So I just wanted to kind of show you. It's just amazing how well it's doing. So I will have that recipe that I just tried here within the last 3 weeks in the description. So if you've had a hard time getting a sourdough starter to really be alive, or you've bought one and it just didn't work out, know that I always started my sourdough starter with regular all-purpose flour, and it just was a flop. It just happened to be one time I was able to make a loaf of bread and some biscuits with the discard, and I was like, wow, that was just by chance and luck. So I gave it up for a year, and here I am back at it again, and it worked. So that recipe will also be in the show notes. We've already gone through 1 jar of these preserved lemons, and I would say this should be a staple in anyone's refrigerator. My husband has had kind of a dry, hacking cough. He's got a lot of allergies, and so kind of a dry throat, scratchy throat from allergies, and he's been drinking tea and just putting a little bit of this lemon syrup in it, and he's fine. Problem solved. So no cough drops or anything like that. We can just use preserved lemons. And then last but not least, see if I can get this with one hand. I might not be able to, so hang on. Okay, I've made jam every year for as long as I can remember. 20 years maybe, 23. And it's turned out, it's been okay. I mean, I've given it away as gifts and stuff like that. I make it every year, so we eat it all winter long. But I must say, I just wasn't satisfied completely with it. I always continued to look at recipes and watch other people make it. And just recently I watched a favorite cook of mine make it, and I was like, wow, mine has never looked like that, and it's never been that easy. One of the things that I never did was I brought the strawberries and sugar for basically all the time that I ever made it, just up to boiling temp. So this recipe that I followed, which this jam is absolutely perfect. Perfect color, perfect texture, perfect thickness, perfect taste. I don't think I've ever had a better jam. This particular recipe was bring it up to boiling and then continue to stir it, continue to stir it, continue to stir it. And I think it was all total, it took 38 minutes to achieve jam. his instructions, his video, his recipe was far different than any that I've ever, well, I don't know, either had the fortune or misfortune to run upon, because my jam still turned out, but it was never red like this. That does have a lot to do with squeezing the lemon juice in it, but it was never bright and red and jelly or jammy or tasty like this. And the texture or the thickness of it was so thick last year, it was just like glue. And the first time I made it this year, just like glue by the time I took it out of the refrigerator. So, yeah, I'll have that recipe in the show notes as well. So kind of a couple of failures that I was able to turn around and getting an early start on perfecting a good cranberry sauce recipe, and to find out that preserved lemons are a must-have in my refrigerator because they help with my husband's dry cough in the spring and the fall from allergies. So that's this week's video. As I said, and I will say in the community board, I'm just going to change up just some things that I'm going to do as far as from now throughout the holidays. Just focus a little bit more on budget, keep myself in check, and hold myself accountable, and perhaps maybe inspire or show a few things that others haven't thought of. Try to make a kind of a nice holiday, as you know, you can have a nice holiday on a budget. We have had for years, and so kind of show, that I'm creating a budget and how to follow the budget and what we get with what we spend from the budgeted money, how we kind of make an abundant, as far as we're concerned. It might be as far as you're concerned as well, or not. An abundant life, how we live on a lower income. In Wisconsin, we are considered actually low income because we're two people living on less than $40,000 a year. So the money that I make, well, like I explained before, the majority of it used to go to pay off all my student loans until I was able to do that. And now the money I make goes towards a house down payment that we hope to be able to find in the next 2 or 3 years, a car down payment that we need to make in the next 6 or 7 months, and possibly just outright buy a car, used car, and then also as well as towards retirement, because I will be retiring in the next 2 years. So yeah, we're just living on one income, and it's under $40,000 a year. So I hope to be able to make some videos that just kind of show, life, for me getting close to retirement, for my husband about 15, 20 years from retirement, how we're saving, how we're living on less than $40,000 a year, how we still consider our life abundant, but yet how we're taking care of our finances, and how we are able to save, and how we are able to buy the things, at least the things that we need, and sometimes the things that we want. And of course, as always, how to be more resourceful with grocery buying, make things homemade meals, homemade things like jam or sourdough bread, or even grow your own vegetables. So that's what I'm going to be focusing on, and maybe that'll help some people get their budgets together in that, and have a different or more fulfilling or more abundant or just more careful on the spending holiday season. So thanks for joining me here, and I'll be back here with another video next Sunday. Okay, we did stop at a farm stand today in a town very close to where we live, and I happened upon an Amish lady that I bought some heirloom tomatoes from a couple of years ago. Very happy to see her. We didn't go at all last year to this farmer's market. So we were so busy here in this apartment and just with things in life. So we wandered over there, drove over there this weekend, and we saw her, and I bought about 4 pounds of heirloom tomatoes for $1.75. So that is, you can't beat prices like that. I did enjoy my own tomatoes all summer long. I'm so grateful that I was finally able to grow some really nice slicer tomatoes, nearly 40 tomatoes off the plant. There's still 11 tomatoes on the plants right now in the second week of September. So I feel very, very blessed with the tomatoes that I got, and even more blessed that I was able to get these today. And then we went to another stand and got these 2 cucumbers and a small orange pumpkin for a display we have by our door, which I'll feature in a clip. And that came to like $2 1/4, I think. And then we saw a gentleman selling flowers, which of course I can never ever walk by without buying something. And he was selling gladiolas at $1 a stem, which is basically the price that we buy them for anywhere we go here in this part of Wisconsin. I grew up with fields of gladiolas, and I've never grown them myself. So I was really happy to, I always love going to farmers markets and finding And it's generally a man, believe it or not, in this area, and as far as down to Madison, Wisconsin, and as far north as La Crosse, Wisconsin, men with flower farms. So, and I love that. So he was selling these and plants and some other stuff, but I stopped at these because from there we were going to be going on a large shopping trip. They did survive in the car. We bring a jar along with water because, yep, I stop and buy flowers. So, yeah. And that is what we bought at a local farm stand. Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. I'm Kim. Thanks for joining me here tonight. Well, my video is going to have a few of the last clips of me doing the processing of the vegetables that I picked up at the local farm stands, getting everything tied up. I've also going to show you the jam that I recently made and share the recipe for the jam, share the recipe for the sourdough starter, and once again share the recipe for the preserved lemons in case you want to use them this winter in that if you get a cold or, you know, scratchy throat or something like that. Other than that, I'm going to be changing just a little bit about my channel, and that is that I would say probably the majority of the people that stop by and watch my videos and comment on my videos are looking for things budget related, budget wise, creating a budget, sticking to a budget, you know, living on a lower income, a fixed income, saving for retirement, stuff like that. And so I'm going to try to gear a little bit more of my videos towards that subject matter. So I'm going to show creating a budget. I'm going to tell you exactly what my budget is, what we're living off of, you know, what some of our major bills are, the percentages of our income that go towards our major bills, how we're saving for retirement, and creating a grocery list. I'll have a menu plan, and just kind of showing that even, you know, on a low or lower income in that, we still are able to live an abundant life while we're saving for retirement. So kind of gear the next several videos towards that as we head into the holiday season. So thank you all for your comments and concerns about Gabe. He's doing better. We're off to the grocery store after a week of staying home and staying close to home and trying to calm him down and keep him calm so he doesn't have another seizure. So until next time, thank you for joining me here. Take care, and I'll see you again.
Shot. Dragonfly, tip of twig.